Woo! Thank you very much, Jamie. Man, it's early morning here. It's quarter to 11. It's not early though, but it's too early for me for sure. But Jamie, I totally agree with you. Success is a journey, indeed. So let me just share my slide here, guys. 1 second. All right. Okay, entire screen window. All right. All right. So, guys, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you guys are at. And my name is Francis Sinday, one of the senior executive director of this company. And once again, thank you very much, Jamie, for such privilege to be here with all of you here. And hopefully, we can learn from what I'm going to share. Definitely, I'm also learning to what I share. So I'm going to talk about the immigrant's financial journey because I, for one, is an immigrant, and I think we just need to understand how people came into North America, maybe U.S. or Canada, and how they are uh, along the way as they progress in life, right? So, a typical immigrants came here. Since I'm in Canada, so I'm just going to share what a typical immigrants in Canada is, and they basically uh, late in their late 30s or 40s or early 40s, and they got kids between age 5 and 15. So that's a very typical immigrant family who came into North America. And so this is a very typical financial life pattern, though, because this is something that I've observed over the years. So let's say we have a couple here, husband and wife, age 38 and 36. Typically, they get kids, couple of them in an average between 8 and 10 years of age. The first time when an immigrant comes to Canada or even in US, maybe is that they will have to look for a job, and a typical job that they're going to look for is something that they do normally from where they came from. So that's priority number one. So to get a job, and typically here in Canada, where I live at least, is that people live with dual income. Majority of the household with a family, they have dual income. Probably in the next few months, they get to understand that commuting and transporting really requires them to buy a car, right? So they get out there and look for a car, and that's what they get. So they get a car loan. So that's basically the only way for, well, unless if you have like lots of money coming here, they they definitely can buy maybe in cash, but majority of people when they come here, they buy car through loan. And then next up is, they stop by, now they have a job, they need a checking account, and majority of these banks, when you go into, they offer credit cards. So now they have a credit card one. And then of course, just like everyone else, they go to groceries, they go to retail stores, for basic needs. And majority of these stores offers credit card and telling everybody, hey, you know what, you're already buying this, in a routinely basis, why not earn some points? And so this retail stores or even grocery stores offers another credit card, right? So might be a good idea. And I think for majority of the part, when people come here to North America, there's got to be a time that your diploma or certificate or whatever you finish from the other, from the country where you're from, does not count here. Because when I came here in Canada, my I graduated back home with a BS IT or information technology. But when I came here, and they assessed my my diploma is only worth a high school graduate. So that didn't, amounted to anything. So that's why I couldn't get a job. And well, a year later, we go back to school to upgrade, just to get our income back up, and we get our dream jobs. So 1 year later, guys, this is what's happening, right? So you're a year older, and typically with a dual income, first year in Canada, you could probably be earning about 60,000 a year, with a 25,000 car loan, with a $2,500 of credit card from the bank, and $1,000 from retail stores, and a student loan of 25,000, just only after a year. Now let's fast forward another 2 years, right? That's when now they're 41, 39, and their kids are 11 and 13. So probably after a year, they get their dream job. Their income has increased definitely, and now their car loan, instead of going down, it actually went up, because when they have to realize that, hey, they needed two cars. And so a typical fashion of finances with regards to car loan, basically people are actually loaning more. And credit card goes up again. You've been paying so good. $10,000 good. We can increase your limit. That seems to be a good idea for sure. And so goes with the credit card too. People, when they go back to school, of course, with the 25,000 loan, just like myself, I had that kind of amount when I went back to school, but barely actually paying it off, because majority of the budget goes to someplace else. But definitely, the first goal for most families are to buy their own first house. So they buy the first own house, and typically they settle for something less, with whatever they can afford with their budget, right? So, and again, plus 5 years later, this is what happens. They're now in the 40s, mid 40s, or maybe late 40s, and now their income increased, but not that significant. If you look at now, their car is still 40,000, because when they actually trade it in, they're carrying a negative equity. So, and again, seems like majority of people here in Canada don't almost always have a car loan, right? And again, credit card has increased to 15,000. Credit limit actually goes up again, and now, because the kids are grown up, they tend to actually buy a bigger house, just to accommodate the growing family. And guess what? Um, so that's when, mortgage, instead of going down, it actually go up, and that's normal, because you have to accommodate a growing family. Now, since kids are now grown up, sometimes majority of people don't prepare too much about their school. They get a help, just to fund the schooling, or and whatever it is that they're trying to do, right? So, and again, with this growing family, more budget is required. And at the end of the day, sometimes people have to pick up two or more jobs, right? And just like what I did, and that's when you owe tax to the government, because now with lots of income, two jobs, triple jobs, you could be owing some money. Now, what I'm trying to point out, guys, is this: seven debts later, and yet still have only one source of income, and that is job. And can you just imagine what people actually went through, right? And is this going to get better or worser? Now that's really, really, really important. And are they creating more asset or creating more liabilities? And what does that do to, or affects a couple's marriage or relationship? And what kind of a quality of life does it give to a family? And that's a really good question, guys. And the most important question, I think, for everyone here, is to ask this: who is going to help them get out of the system? Like, seriously, I think statistically, a lot of people are in a mess financially, not just here in Canada. I believe that goes the same way in North America in general. So the expectation versus reality here is that, a lot of people are expecting to actually accumulate more wealth, and while their liabilities go down, right? And they're basically expecting to have a positive net worth on their 40s. But that could be farther from the truth, because the reality is, a lot of people are actually barely making a lot of, creating assets for themselves, but piling up more liabilities. And like, I think that's what's happening right now, and we have a really important work to do here, guys. And that's why I asked this question: how did you even get this far, given the financial situation? Let me tell you guys a story. This is gonna be short. Um, Way back home, well, basically, I was born and raised in Iligan City, Philippines, and that's me right there when I was 12. And at the age of 12, I left home and have lived in with my uncle. That's my uncle right there on the right side. And by the way, we are outside doing our laundry. We don't have a washing machine or washer dryer. Everything is done outside. And this was the time that my parents started to struggle financially, because my dad lost his job. And with a single income at the time, my mom stays home with the kids. Um, and man, that was really devastating. That's when early on in life, I realized that nothing in life is for free. Right. Fast forward, I migrated to Canada. Shortly after I graduated, I migrated to Canada in 2004. That's me, first week in Canada. Uh, Actually, funny story. I was held up in the airport because they thought I was a terrorist, they- because I was wearing a jacket with leather boots. I was like, the guy was asking me, okay, so what's your purpose of the visit in Canada, right? So it's like, I think it was a marshal. I was held up there in between the gate and the airplane. And again, when I came to Canada, I speak no to little English language. Uh, and again, guys, you should have seen me ordered my first ever um, McDonald's. And again, I did 1 year of schooling, as I've said, you know, uh, and was able to actually get a job full time as an IT. But then 2011 happens. This is when we were 3 months away from sending our kids back to the Philippines, because we could no longer actually afford to raise kids, and I don't want to do that. So that's why I pray to God. You know what? I, I need some solutions here. And that's when one day somebody actually came up to us and said, hey, you know what, Francis, maybe you're interested to become an insurance agent and make some extra money part time. And so I accepted the offer and get a goal to finish my licensing exam in 30 days. And fortunately, I passed the exam and went on to apply for my license, only to find out that I got declined because my credit's so bad. Again, I wrote a letter to the insurance company asking them to give me a second chance, which they did eventually, and I was so happy about it. And again, with no background in sales or marketing, I just, in just short period of time, 3 months later, I was able to actually make 60K and quit all my full-time jobs, like two full-time jobs and one part-time income. And since then, this is us. When I was back in my first IMO, MGA, Great Way, we built a massive um, um, team there. Was earning 40K passive income per month, but only to get short leave because I have to leave because um, I believe that wasn't the company that I have to be working forever. And I couldn't find a company outside, so that's why I put up my own company. And by the way, the only person that's left there when I leave was actually Tito Ray. And again, guys, I put up a company, an AGA, only to find out that my own MGA IMO poach more than half of these people. They poach it. Can't believe that. And then 2017 came, Xperia showed up in radar, and man, since then that was a true change. That was a real change that I've experienced. And I get to meet Jamie and Leanne back in 2017, and we joined them. I bought into his vision, and since then we've been having a lot of transformation stories. I think last night a lot of you guys have heard about Melvy's story and Tito Ray's story as well. These are just a few to name, but definitely, this is what I love about this company, because it truly transformed a lot of people's lives. And again, guys, as I've said, let's go out there. We still have a lot of work to do. It's not gonna be an easy ride or journey for everybody, but let's embrace the struggle. Let's embrace pain, because the other side of it is a lot of people being changed. And thank you very much, everybody. And Jamie, thank you very much.